Hello everyone, my name is Maddie. I'm 20 years old and my kidneys don't work. You're probably sitting there like, okay, well, how are you alive right now if neither one of your kidneys work? And my answer to that is that I actually have 3 kidneys, 2 of which belong to me and they're pretty they don't do their job. And the 3rd one was actually given to me by a man who about a year and a half ago passed away. And before he passed away, he made the decision to become an organ donor. When you become an organ donor, it basically just means that after you pass away, they donate your organs to whoever needs them. And I happen to be one of those people who needed them, and his kidney ended up inside me. And it's really, really weird to say it that way, but that's kind of exactly how it happened. So I know the title of this video is probably what brought you here, and you're like, okay, cool, like your kidneys don't work, so what? Like you got a transplant, so what? You're fine. Okay, cool, why are we here? Well, it's actually a lot more complicated than that. Hey peeps, so I'm actually editing this right now and I don't hate it. It's just that I was saying a whole lot, not necessarily of nothing, but I talked a lot about my diagnosis and that wasn't what played like a huge part in my life. So it's like 2 o'clock in the morning right now and I recorded a thing on my webcam. So I'm inserting that here because I feel like I summarized it a little bit better. So here you go. Hello everyone. I'm editing my video right now and I was happy with it when I recorded it, and now that I'm watching it back, I can't tell if it's boring because it's boring, or if it's boring to me because it's my story and I've heard it a million times and I've told it 1,000 times and I can't tell if that's why or if it's because the subject matter is actually boring. Because I made the video in the first fucking place because I was like, you know, oh, like I want to show people what it's like from my POV, like living with this chronic illness. It's like 45 minutes raw, first of all. But I feel like I talked about a lot of nothing in the beginning because a lot of the beginning of my video is just me talking about like me getting diagnosed in the first place, and there was honestly nothing spectacular about that. I got diagnosed when I was 12 and my life was normal. Like I was sick and I had this diagnosis on my head and I had to go to the doctor every so often. I was literally going to the doctor maybe once a year still after I got diagnosed. Like my life was completely normal until high school. So I don't know why I felt the need to talk so much about getting diagnosed because it didn't affect my life necessarily really at all. People have this like assumption in your head that like, oh my god, I got diagnosed with something, like that's it, this is the end, like everything's changing, my life is over. And it's like, it really isn't. Like I was completely normal I got diagnosed at 12. I'm 20 years old right now. And the only reason that I, you know, kind of fell as fast as I did is because I started in stage 3 out of 5 of kidney disease. And I'll leave like a bunch of links in the bio or description, I'm sorry, about what this, you know, my condition is. I have CKD. I just wanted to clarify that I have end-stage renal disease as well, which is ESRD. I still have CKD, my kidneys are still not working, it's still chronic, but ESRD just means that they have officially failed. So yeah, I just want to clarify that. It's a chronic disorder, it's a progressive chronic disorder, I'll have it forever, and, you know, I'll leave stuff if you want to read about it, you can. It just basically means my kidneys had a slow decline to not functioning, and that's the basic way I can explain it. I'm gonna have it for fucking ever. It's never going away. Even with my transplant now, I'm not cured. Like, I'm gonna have it forever, and that's okay. I'm come to terms with that fact. Like, I'm gonna have it. It's fine. People focus so much on that, and are so scared of being diagnosed with anything. And I'm not saying that's not scary. It is very scary. It wasn't scary to me because I was young and couldn't process it. And I honestly still kind of don't process that I'm sick sometimes. Like, that sounds really dumb. Like, to someone who, like, doesn't have a disorder, it's like, how do you not know you're sick? I know for a complete fact that I'm sick. It's just that it's my normal. So how would I know what abnormal is when this has always been my normal? So, like, for a diagnosis for me, getting it so young, it was like, okay, cool, like, I get to drink water and I can go to the bathroom whenever I want at school, and I can't drink soda when, like, that's all that really, like, affected or processed in my head at that point in my life. It didn't affect me that much. And even back then when I was younger, it didn't feel like this impending doom kind of thing. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, some changes have to happen. I have to eat healthier. I got to work out more, whatever. Like, that's all that processed in my head, and that was absolutely it. Like, there was no, it was life-changing. I think, honestly, more so for my mom, in that my mom was very much so a person who, like, she hated when things weren't in her control, and there was nothing she could do about me being sick. So for anyone watching this who's just been diagnosed with something, or especially something incurable like what I have, it's okay. Like, that sounds so, like, I know, it's like, how is that okay? It's not okay. Life's not okay. Like, it's gonna be okay. Because when you're initially diagnosed, that's probably the scariest part. Like, whatever it is, that's probably the scariest part, because you don't know any kind of fact yet. And everything is a shot in the dark kind of thing. You haven't experienced anything yet. So it's scary because it's unknown, and then it becomes your new normal. And it's okay. It's shitty, and no one wants to be diagnosed with everyone wants to be healthy. Everyone wants their kids healthy. Everyone wants their relatives and their friends healthy. But for you, if you're watching this and you're sickly like I am, it's gonna be okay, because you're gonna adjust. And if my crazy ass, anxious ass could, like, survive all this and be okay and come out on the other side, you can too. Like, it's fine. You're gonna be okay. You will adjust. I promise. Just don't get all down in the dumpsy about it. I have to joke. Like, I'm gonna say some morbid ass shit in some later videos. Like, I'm being so prim and proper in this video too, I'm noticing while I'm editing. Like, I'm not necessarily like this in real life. Like, I don't know why. I think I'm just shy in front of my camera. I've never really put myself out there like that. I'm not used to that. I've always been the sick girl. And then on top of that, have always been the fat girl. And both of those are labels that I'm not necessarily angry with. They're just factual. I'm not like, that's another thing. Like, I'm fat. That's what it is. Like, I'm not angry. I'm not, like, afraid to, like, pronounce that anymore, because I'm just like, that is what it is, and I'm working on it. And I can't hate myself and my body while I focus on fixing these things. So I'm not gonna complain. And I guess that's been my mindset with being sick too. Like, you literally can't complain. I take that back. You can't not complain. I complain all the fucking time, if we're being real honest. But you can't let something that's out of your control take such a huge hold on your heart that it hurts you. You just can't. Like, what's the point? You know? I guess one quick last thing. Your kidneys are so goddamn important, bro. Y'all need to go ahead, go to your doctor. It's literally as simple as getting your urine tested. They'll tell you, like, how healthy your kidneys are. It's literally that simple. It's important. They do a lot more shit than you realize they do, and you don't realize how much you miss them till they're gone. They're like relationship partners and friends and stuff. So want to say I actually didn't start dialysis until the very, very, very end of my junior year. Like 2 weeks before the end of my junior year. For those of you who don't know what dialysis is, it's basically where you get hooked up to a machine through something called a catheter port. My catheter used to be right here. I don't have it anymore, but there's the scars from it. I'll actually plug a picture of me when I was still, like, I think I had just started treatments when I took this picture. Dialysis at that point in my life was more inconvenient than detrimental, if that makes sense. Hey everybody, so basically, quick rundown. I like talked about it for way too long in my like official recording, but basically dialysis was just me getting hooked up, you know, getting my blood taken out, getting it clean, getting it put back. I go home. I did dialysis for 3 days out of the week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, from like 11 in the morning until like 3:30. That but yeah, so those are my dialysis treatments. It was pretty like manageable in high school, but like college it got really hard just because I lived so far away from home, and I didn't even live far away. I lived like an hour away, but it was a lot going back and forth. The traffic was bad. I took no break. Like I went straight to from high school to college. There was no break in between, and I started getting really really sick around that time. Two, I'd never really been that sick in my entire life. Basically, my mom also passed away that same semester I went away to college. She passed away, so that was a lot. On top of everything else, like it was just a lot. So, that's actually where that period of my life is where the picture that is in the thumbnail came from. I my body literally just kind of started shutting down on me. All of my friends came home that winter break and kind of kept my mind occupied. So I didn't really have like time to grieve, but I'm glad kind of that I didn't because honestly, shout out to my friends. Like, if any of y'all, even the ones that like we aren't like cool or I have no problems with anybody honestly at this point. But for anyone that's like not my friend anymore, that or whatever, like I love you to death and like I appreciate you so much for everything you were in my life, especially in the hard parts because my family, like of course I love my family. They're like my rock, but my friends were what got me through like the hardest part of being sick. Like the part of being sick where like it actually started legitimately taking a toll on me emotionally. Um but yeah, so I already put a picture in like the thumbnail of what I look like, but like if you wanted another one, here you go. That's what I look like when I was at like the peak of my illness. I didn't take a lot of pictures. Like there's a lot of pictures of like BTS in my photo roll from then because they were like, I mean, I'm still into them, but like that was what my focus was on. I didn't really feel cute, but I didn't attribute it all the way to being stressed out. Stress will stress will kill you. Like if you can avoid stress, and that's such an like way more easier said than done kind of thing, but stress will kill you. Like I'd never been that sick in the entire 2 years I'd been sick, and I just went downhill in the span of like 2 months. Okay, so last I guess like story time. Not even a full story time, I'm just talking. But basically my actual transplant, I got it like I had dialysis that day. It was nothing like special. I wasn't like we gotta get on a plane. Like it wasn't anything crazy. I was literally like I left school like normal to go to my treatment. Found out I got a match during my treatment and then got admitted. Whoops. And then I got admitted and waited like 2 days. Found out that it was 100% mine. And then I got it. And one like really cool moment, I guess, during my surgery was like I had this really like amazing like warmth in my chest. And I was like, okay, mom, like I feel you, mama. I know you're here. And it lasted like throughout the entire night, throughout my surgery, throughout me waking up in the ICU, all of that. And then it went away and everything went. And I know everyone's heard of like Selena Gomez and her friend getting their transplants or whatever. And Selena Gomez's kidney moved. Mine did the same thing, except hers twisted, mine moved down. And I had blood clotting issues. And when my kidney moved, pushed on a vein clotted up. My supposed to be 2-week hospital stay turned into a 33-day hospital stay. So that's how many complications I had. I was drugged up the whole time. I had like 4 surgeries. I don't know. Here's a little insert from my actual video of me and my grandma on the phone, low-key kind of arguing about it. I'm gonna speed it up like really fast, but yeah, this is us like arguing about it.
I had a question.
I was checking because you were a third party and you weren't on drugs and I was. I couldn't remember.
You had so much going on, babe. You really went through it. Yeah.
I know. Well, I'm healthy now, so that's all that matters.
Thank God. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, that was it.
Okay, baby.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, honestly, kind of where I'm at now is just dealing kind of with like my anxiety has been the worst part because I've always been a naturally kind of cautious person, but I've never been an anxious person. So I think that's kind of the worst part. And I mentioned that like way, way, way earlier in my video. So I guess just kind of to reiterate that, that's been kind of the hardest part, is just accepting that my life is mine to live and I can't live it in fear, because there's no point doing that. Like, what was the point of me getting my transplant if I was going to sit at home and be scared all day? That doesn't make any sense. I went through enough of that when I first got it, and I was immunosuppressed AF and couldn't do anything and couldn't go anywhere. I'm not confined by anything. So the one thing I can say honestly is that even on dialysis, I had fun. I did everything in high school. I went on all the trips. I did all of our events. It only got hard when my disease got really bad, but then I bounced back. And look at where we're at now, boys. So yeah, I guess my advice to anyone is just live your life, because there's this saying that I saw not too long ago that was like, every person that died this morning had plans for today, last night. And every person that dies tonight made plans this morning. I think that's really like interesting to think about. Like, anything can happen to anybody. I think just being sick makes me more conscious of the fact that death is an imminent thing, but that doesn't mean it has to control your entire life. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents. That's my story. I mean, I kind of paraphrase it in a lot of spots just because it's 8 o'clock and I haven't slept all night and I'm really tired. But yeah, I'm just trying to practice being more mindful and bettering myself and all that. I gained a lot of weight after I got my kidney just because they put you on a medical steroid. If you're on prednisone, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It sucks. A lot of positive changes in my life are happening right now. And I think that my channel, my nails look so raggedy, I'm sorry. I think I made this channel in the first place just to give myself kind of a push, to give myself some incentive to do better. And I'm gonna do that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see all of you back here next time. Thanks for watching. I bought a fucking $400 camera just to say the part that actually meant something to me on a fucking webcam. Like, that's what my channel's gonna be. It's gonna be a mess. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. 2!